Yeah, the whole what is IPM thing is a mess. And it's because somebody should have stepped in at the very beginning and said, this is what it is, and controlled that narrative.
But heck, the people who write the IPM law can't define it.
That's my point. That is exactly my
Yeah.
point. Because, I mean, we had this discussion at one point on, I think it was probably on Facebook, where, okay, is IPM this or that or what, and, uh, I've thrown the language IPM out because there's no true definition or no
No,
anything.
the industry. I mean, I got articles. I just finished. I don't know if I did it yet, if I put it out or not, on people who are farmers that say they practice IPM can't agree on what IPM is. They're confused about it. And this is the farming industry where it came from agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
What I've done is I explain what we do. And I have people in the industry tell me, you're not doing IPM. I said, dude, that is about as much as IPM as you can do. And I've got every single university that teaches school IPM backing me up saying, yep, that is IPM. I've proven through the documentation that it's IPM. And they'll say no. And then they'll say IPM can't be done because you can't do one part. You can't do it all and therefore do nothing.
Well, see, all those answers are correct based on that person's definition of what IPM is.
Right. That's the problem.
Because the guy who says, well, you can't do it, it's not reasonable, it's pure crap, by his definition, he's probably right.
Yeah. But he's also the guy that doesn't want to learn and he wants to just go in with a B&G because it's much easier. So he'll use that as an excuse as it can't be done because I really don't want to learn real insect biology, how to control this. I just want to spray something. And by where I am, my customers expect me to spray everything. So IPM goes out the door anyway.
See, by as much as I hate the government, this is where I think that the EPA should step in and say, this is IPM.
Right.
And this is exactly what it is, and then everything should filter from that.
Well, but
that never happened.
And especially with it's been pretty defined in agriculture. It's just that we get into urban IPM, and then we get into industrial IPM, and so those are three different disciplines from agriculture, and then you've got landscape IPM, and this is why you see people like,
dude, that's just another tab. It can't be that hard.
But you see Denny Miller, she got away from the term IPM. Mm-hmm. It's assessment based.
Because look, people like me who know, because her definition of what's she calling it now?
Assessment based.
Yeah. Assessment based. Now I agree with a lot of stuff she has to say, but I think some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth is she's saying it knowing that whoever is paying some grants for her is listening.
Right.
I'm just going to leave it right there.
Yeah, we've got it. Academia has to do a lot of things to please a lot of people.
Yeah.
Unlike me, I don't have to.
However, what she's doing is what my definition of IP is really, really close to what I think the correct definition of IPM is. It's not the no pesticides ever, and we're just going to spray patchouli oil and dance around it.
Right.
It's not that, and it's not just squirting because we're there.
Right.
I think that it's a good thing. IPM is a good thing. It's correct definition of IPM. See, that's the problem. Is most of these conversations concerning IPM surround people talking about different things. You're talking apples and oranges, you're disagreeing, but you're really not.
Yeah.
Because you need to start, and that happens a lot just in life and politics. Let's start with the definition. You're calling this.
Yeah, I think McGovern says it best. IPM is a menu that allows you to choose. I mean, think about it. And here's where people get hung up is on the IPM pyramid. Academia wants you to go and apply the pyramid the way it is. The problem is when you and I get called in, there's a roach problem. There's no exclusion to be done to solve that German roach problem. You got to use the chemical first.
Kill it or I'm calling somebody else.
I mean, you got a roach problem, it's chemical first.
Yeah.
What we decide and how we do it from that point, and who does it more eco-friendly, that's a different matter. If you go all bait, or if you go bait and crack and crevice, or bait and IGR, but you got to start with that chemical.
Well, and then there's the other problem, because so many people, they hear the word chemical, and you and I know what that means.
Right.
But especially Joe Schmo consumer sees chemical and they're thinking of skull and crossbones and
Right.
flipper babies.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be that definition. That's another definition within that IPM discussion that we need to define, that make sure that we're talking about the same thing before we can have a meaningful
We got to do
discussion.
so much education to the client. I mean, this is what I do constantly.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
that's why I do the videos. That's why you do the videos.
What I explain to customers is, let me ask you a question. How many guys have you had there spraying that floor with a pesticide, a chemical, and hasn't solved the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Says, well, we've had 2 or 3. I mean, the apartment building, there's one every month. And I said, okay, we're still going to use a chemical. If I used that much gel bait, and I use this much gel bait in the entire kitchen, and I wipe it all out, didn't I use a whole lot less chemical than that whole spray where your kids are walking? Yeah. Okay. And if I wipe it out, how many times have they been sprayed? I'm going to do it once or twice and I'm going to knock it out. And they're going to still spray every month and still not knock it out.
Yeah.
Is my service greener? Did I contaminate your floor where your kid walks, where your puppy walks? No. I got to educate the customer on every sales call, every single time, every time.
See, I always tell my customers, you didn't look, I'm doing, they start to question how I'm doing things a little different.
Right.
Because I'm not a spray and pray. And I'm like, look, you didn't call me for pest control. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what? It's a good day. I'm going to go buy some pest control. Yes.
Right.
Nobody does that. They go, holy crap, I got this, or mama's raising heck on me.
Right.
We got to get rid of these ants, these roaches. You called me for dead bugs at the end of the day. If I don't produce that for you, and I tell this is why I don't do many apartments, because I have a video for them, like, just, that I send to them when the apartment place calls me. I send it to them, and it's pretty harsh. It says, listen, this is a partnership. I can kill the bugs. You got to keep your tenants in check. Make sure the place is clean. You got to repair the place, and this ain't going to be cheap, because the 20 years before that you've been paying your spray and pray guy to come in every month, it ain't working. And I've got to kind of jar them out of this thinking that that's normal. It's not working. Your normal sucks.
Right.
So I'm going to come in here. It's going to be more expensive, and most people don't buy my apartment stuff, and I'm okay with that because I hate them. I hate doing them.
Yeah. That's about 30% of our business, believe it or not.
Really? But the ones that do sign up, they're on board, and it's hardcore.
Right. And that's why I love the videos, why you need to put them out so that it's preempted, so that they don't even waste their time if they're not calling you, if they're not going to work on this. And that's what I do. I basically eliminate everybody that isn't on board. But so much of this is education and educating the masses. And I'm obsessed with educating the masses on what real pest control is.
Yeah.
And educating the technicians. And this is where NPMA hasn't done it, where the universities haven't done it, because nobody's reading their material. They're reading it, but the wrong people are reading it. People like me reading the material. I'm regurgitating it so that people can understand it. And I have to educate the consumer, which nobody's doing at mass scale, on what the future of pest control is, which is holistic pest management, where we take all these concepts, we put them together, and we create a custom program for every client based on the need. So if exclusion is available, use exclusion. If baiting is available, use baiting. The problem is everybody gets hung up on the pyramid and says, no, you got to start down here. I said, I'm not going to exclude a house for German roaches. They don't live outside. They live inside. Unless you're in Hawaii, then they do live outside.
I'll stay in Tennessee.
There you go. So, again, how do we take a holistic approach to where let's make it work for the client with the lowest amount of toxicity possible, the least amount of chemical? I was called at Purdue University. I don't know if you saw that, if you heard it. I was called the chemophobe at the Purdue Pest Management Conference. Yes, I got mentioned at Purdue Pest Management Conference. That was
made it.
That's going to go down in what is it? Infamy? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that I'm a chemophobe and that I'm representing, yes, because that's where it's going. That's what nobody wants to hear, that people don't want all the chemicals in their home. The more educated they are, the least they want it. And it's just conversations like this, like, why is it that you're not getting the fact that you now have to be a business owner and now you have to be responsible for employees? And this is what I would say probably 75 of the people that follow me aren't. They're single man operators. This doesn't register. Mm-hmm. But it's nonetheless, it's still the law and we don't get it. And why are we having a discussion if I'm not going to use it? That's your business. Doesn't relieve me from the responsibility as an educator to educate you, whether you want to listen to me or not.
And even getting to this point to even have these kind of conversations is, especially with Joe homeowner.
Yeah.
Pest control is not sexy. They don't jump on YouTube and
no.
Ooh, good. Let's talk about legal labels and laws and stuff in pest control. Nobody cares. And the sad thing, I expect that from the consumer side. The sad thing is most people, I think probably it's just like, look, dude, it's just like in church, man. How many people actually open their Bible every day and read it?
I show up to mine and I still got my paper Bible, and I still take my phone out and I still look stuff when he's preaching, and but I'm still taking. He's looking at me. The pastor, probably the only guy sitting there in the front seat too, with the Bible in his hand.
But most people they never open it. And the same thing with pest control guys. And I'm sure it's in all industries. I mean, I've got a library over here of stuff.
Right.
Nobody's continuing that education.
I think there's nobody. I think, look, you don't know what you don't know. And if for 20 years you've been taking courses and they've told you this is pest control and everybody's saying the same thing, you kind of believe it. I'm like the prophet that's standing among 400 prophets and everybody's saying he's wrong.
Yeah.
But yet I'll show you a page like this and say, no, look at what it says. You're absolutely wrong.
That's usually the guy I focus in on first, because I can, if he's right, then holy moly. But if he's wrong, I can just, I can push it away, and that's kind of where I see, when I got into the start my own, I was the guy who I could kill the bugs all day long, but when it came to business, I knew nothing.
Right.
So, I had that night job when I first started so I could eat and feed my kids, Right. And it was just, okay, I don't know what I don't know. I don't even know where to start.
Right.
So I started with some business podcasts. 90% of them are junk.
Right.
They really are trash.
Well, they can't relate to the real hard brick and mortar service business, because everybody's doing the software online thing. And that's how every business is now. That's all the podcasts are in regards to that.
So I mean, I consumed audiobooks and podcasts, and Pest Geek was one of them during that time. And there was a lot of it that didn't apply to me at the time, but I put it in my brain.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff that don't apply to me, but, as I try to learn, but I put it in my brain.
Right.
And it never fails. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That weird guy with the cigars was saying something I listened to, and I can go back and, find it,
right.
now that I need it, I need the details of that information,
right.
And you will never know it all.
No, you won't.
It's not going to happen. It'll never. I mean, look, I tell my customers all the time, I say, look, there's, I've got, 1,000 bugs here, on the low end to figure out that could pop up. and 1,000+ chemicals to apply, to use at my disposal to take care of that. This isn't just Bubba with a spray can. You know,
Yeah.
this isn't Dale Gribble. That's why it should be a practice. It
Right.
shouldn't be,
Well,
I get the
it's just
certification and
like
I'm good.
the pesty ad that pops up because I'm in pest control, so they're gonna my keyword search the pesty ad where they're selling you now 4 times a year they're gonna send you this little bag with a little
Yeah,
sprayer, and they're using what is that basically is demand CS, which is
yeah.
what's the active ingredient in demand CS?
Oh, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, one of those. And
But that I mean, we
but
all
they're
laugh at
saying you're going to
that.
get
But
professional grade pest control, and yeah, that's going to be great to spray around your property. Wait until you get that odorous house ant inside and you can't get rid of it. What are you going to do? Spray all that all over your house?
lambda sahaltrin.
It's a Halfrin. Okay, there you go.
So and this is what I tell people. I said, look, yeah, you can go over to Wally World and get some stuff, or you can go to the co-op and get the good stuff, or you could, if you're
Right.
really sneaky and smart, you can get on Amazon and get exactly what's on my truck. But you know what? I got some wrenches in my toolbox. My truck's kind of acting up right now. You put me under that truck with a wrench, and I'm going to screw it up.
Right.
I'm gonna, and
Yeah.
it's, I'm going to, I'm
Wait until
going
you
to.
get a odorous house ant problem inside, and they're going to prevent it with a quarterly application of a
No, they'll
product.
they'll take that demand inside their house and
Right.
they'll hose everything down.
And
Now who's at fault?
right.
Now who's going to get sick, and what's going to happen?
Right. And that's what people don't understand is that you're talking about one product. I carry 16 products on that truck to solve every pest problem that you're going to encounter.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you got a moisture issue and you're hosing your house down with demand CS because you got silverfish and it's a moisture issue, or you got a drain fly problem,
Now what?
Yeah. Now
You gonna
what?
just
I
dump
mean,
that down the drain?
so they
Didn't
got a
read your
minimum
label.
viable product that's going to solve 10% of people's problems. You're not going to solve an American roach problem inside a home, or a woods cockroach, or an Australian roach problem.
And look, if we can't get the bug guys to read the labels and understand them
What are we
and
going to do with
follow
the
them,
customer?
you think that customer ever reads that label?
Right.
Ever?
And this is
How
why I'm
many?
producing the content like this.
I
Why
mean,
I'm
we don't
doing
ask for directions, for heaven's sakes. We're
this
not
is
going
why
to
I'm
read a
doing the
label.
DIY pest control podcast. We're going to be launching that one. So I've got 20 done that I've been testing in the background to see what kind of audience I get. But this is the reason why we're going to be discussing the real issue about doing it yourself, and what you can do yourself and what you shouldn't do yourself. Like, I don't recommend you solve your own termite problem.
Yeah.
Highly recommend you don't, and why. But we got to explain, we got to do it in an educational way, because a lot of guys take the attitude that, oh, I just won't give them any info, or I'll give them the wrong info and let them screw it up. That's the wrong attitude.
No.
Or you just ignore those people. I said, those people aren't going to weigh that they're your future customers, because when they realize they can't solve it, you're the one they're going to call.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I got people from all over the country, because we're starting to rank nationally. Our website is ranking nationally. Say, I want somebody in California to do it the way you're doing eco-friendly pest control, because I can't find someone in California. Think about
franchise
that. In California. And we use San Francisco protocols, which they got the strictest protocols in the state. And we use their protocols. They can't find someone to do eco-friendly in California.
Yeah. Well, it's very similar to as far as educating the customer. Like I've really pushed hard on preventative bed bug.
Right.
Okay. And it's been a difficult road. But I'll tell you what's been really interesting is nobody gives a crap until they've had the bed bugs.
Right.
Now they're all about preventative bed bug.
Right.
So and that is going to apply through all this customer level education that we're talking about.
Because even if at the end you educate them at the end, it's kind of like nobody worries about the heart attack until they get the heart attack. I mean, that's just human beings. Nobody cares about the weight. Nobody cares about until it happens to them.
True. Yeah.
That's just human nature. It's not just, we just get so focused on bugs, and because that's our business, that we forget that, scripture has a ton to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want that person then, after it's happened, to look for you and then share that with every one of their friends because it happened to them, and now he doesn't want it to happen to their friends? That's what you're looking for.
And that's exactly where I see the benefit of having, even with the errors in my YouTube channel, is I have people that are watching. In fact, I had a guy send me a resume from another company, wanting a job because of the videos,
And that's exactly what I'm looking at it as a holistic. It's integrated branding, because right now, everybody who hears me and talks to me knows if I'm not an A player, I won't even apply at his company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
So it's the whole image that we have to bring. But, my goal is not only to be the pest control guy for the industry, but be the pest control guy that people listen to in the commerce world. When you got hotel owners and hospital people going, I got hospital people that have said, I've seen your videos and I've never seen our pest control guy at the hospital do that.
Yeah, I get that a lot because like you, I'm the guy who's going to tell them that what they think is the norm is junk.
Yeah, and that's your customer, truly.
Yeah, I don't want the one that wants the norm.
Right.
Wants that $15 a month stop and expects unicorns and rainbows to fall down. It ain't gonna happen.
We were talking at the Paul J. Bello conference, and you said something, and then you've said it before to me, that you're trying to figure out the eco-friendly thing because nobody cares where you're at about it.
Here, it's not, nobody's asking for it. It's extremely rare.
Right.
Now I have my normal customers they understand things like, okay, well, after your initial service, when I fix whatever's going on inside,
right,
I don't want to be inside. I want to be outside doing stuff. There's no reason to put chemical inside your home unless there's a need. There's no prevention with interior treatment. It makes no sense.
Right.
The bug's coming from the outside.
Right.
So they get the safety level. I love how they ask, is this going to hurt my dog? And there's like 4 kids running around. They don't care about the kids. They just don't want to hurt Fluffy.
Right.
But
you know what? You just made an observation. I've said this probably about 20 times when I do conferences. People ask me more about their dog than they're asking me about their 1-year-old crawling on the floor with the same chemical that's going to be on that floor if I apply it.
Actually licking the baseboards.
Yeah. Yeah, licking the baseboards.
But the green level and the 25B and all that stuff that you're working with, nobody's doing it here.
All right. So
because there's no demand.
Right. Here is the thing. There is a demand. There is a demand.
Then why is nobody seeing it?
Because the people are asking for something different. There is no demand in Miami. The reason I have a demand is because I'm in a market of 3 million people. All I need is 0.1% to buy from me.
Yeah.
That wants it. You have how many people in that city? 28,000 population? Maryville?
I think it's 60.
Okay, 60,000. All right, think about that. And you notice what people are asking you, is it going to hurt my dog? Is it going to hurt my kid? They're not asking for the organic. They're asking it for not to hurt their kids.
Well, see, there's another word thing. People don't understand what organic and green and all those buzzwords mean. They have the wrong perception of what that means.
Correct. And I got to, believe it or not, I got to explain it to 99% of the customers that call me because they think we're going to spray their house with mint oil. and what I tell people is that I have an if you go to my website, front and center, it says We use an integrated pest management process.
Mm-hmm.
Right underneath our front page. And we explain what that process is. We also have organic products. We also have natural products. They're different. But we do lawn and ornamental. We do plants. I got just a guy that called me to do 11 mango trees around his house. He wants to put them on our Eco Green program. See, we have an organic program for that. We have an organic program, a natural program for shrubs. 95% of our plants, healthcare, is on 25B with micros and aminos and humics and amino acids. And it's a combination of products, but we control insects and diseases on most plants with 100% natural. If 100% natural mosquito control with final feed.
Mm-hmm.
We have 100% flea and tick control for outside with 25B. We just don't have it available 100% natural organic for indoor. But I'm not misleading my customers when I say we are the leader in natural organics because we have all these programs. We have 5. When it comes to indoor, I have to now explain we go to an IPM process, and this is how we do it. And this is what the American Veterinary Association recommends. Go to their site. Here's the link. Here's what the Pediatric Association recommends. And we educate every customer in a 10-minute conversation about what IPM is and why we use it and why there is no surface contamination for 95% of pest problems that they have, unless they got a flea problem. The only time we ever have to do a surface spray is for a flea problem.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't have to. So we explain it, but we have to educate every single customer. The question is, do you have the patience to educate every single customer? Are you going to have a sales force that's going to educate every single customer? Do you have technicians that are passionate about what you do that are going to educate every single customer? See, we have to create the culture and the brand, and that's what's hard. Yeah. So your customers are asking for it. You just got to listen to how they're asking for it. They don't want to hurt Fluffy and they don't want to hurt the baby. Sell on that. Our process.
Well, that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, and then, I go into that explanation.
But you're using, because you're using Niban, and explain why using Niban is more eco-friendly than having to spray this all the time. See how what Austin Frischman, he qualified it, and he says the future of pest control is green. The problem is you got to define how green is.
That's all where I need to start that conversation with the customers.
And you have to, but the way you do it is you preempt it, where you do it with the prospect. You educate the prospect. Mm-hmm. He's watching the YouTube videos. He's going online to find information. He finds it on your website. He finds it in YouTube. He finds it on Facebook. And the more that customer is there, he's just not being the foodie, yoga, vegetarian guy, because there's just not enough of them in your market because of the volume. I've got 1.8 million people in Miami-Dade and like 1.4 in Broward. Of course I can find in a niche people that want it because I have the volume of people. There has to be those people in that group. And that's how we sustain. But it's taking it to that next level to where we're educating everybody on what real pest control is. And so what you can't focus on is the 25B products because they have limited application. Like you notice, I never apply a 25B product indoor. However, I have a market of people looking for natural organic options. So we said, here's the option. Would you rather have this or a traditional spray service where they're spraying your floors with all the chemical? Yeah, I don't want that. Then this is the only option you have. It isn't me switching over and using Essentria or Ecovia and spraying the inside of your home. Believe it or not, we get better spider control outside with Ecovia than we do with anything else. We use the dust. Mm-hmm. We dust all the soffits. We take pool enclosures and we dust the pool enclosures that are screened with Ecovia, and we get 2 months control of spiders with that. better than spraying Onslaught or anything else. People say it can't be done. Yeah, you just got to test it and use it. So that's where we're trying to, as the products get better. Think about it. We didn't have before 2007 25B products. Just a recent phenomenon.
Yeah.
And most people still don't know how to use them. They haven't done all the studies. I've got 67 studies that I published on 25Bs. Nobody wants to read through that. Everybody just tell me how to apply it, how to use it. I don't want to educate myself on mode of action. So yeah, bro, it's I think you got it. You're on the right track. You've put in a heck of a lot of work.
Hey, do what? No, my technician's here.
Okay, no problem.
The cat's hanging out there. There's a new wand for your sprayer in there. I'm still on this. I'll holler at you when I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, bro, we've been here what? Jeez.
2 hours.
More than that. We logged in like at 9:40. We've been
and
talking.
Won't you shut up?
I know, right? Because you can talk too. I mean, people think Cubans are the only ones that talk a long time. No, dude. I mean, it's been great, man. Holler at me if you need any help with that. If you get stuck with that SEO and
yeah,
you get stuck with the video, just holler at me.